Yes, sir, we can start.
Okay, perfect. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so a brief introduction about myself. And my name is Soumya, and I work as a Salesforce and Pardot admin. And I have recently been announced as a part of the Salesforce Marketing Champion program. So that's a good news to share with you all. And we will be coming up with some more giving back of knowledge sharing sessions, and we'll be sharing some more updates and some more information about uh, the rest of the platforms about Salesforce, Pardot, marketing automation, and all that stuff. And currently, I'm also leading the Gurgaon B2B marketers group. So, and here are my social media links. You can just reach out to me for any queries, any sort of guidance or help you need. So today, okay, so we have discussed about all this Mentorship Central and about the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Groups program. So I hope you just noted it. All right. So this is our third session of the webinar series, right? So previously we have discussed about the introduction to Pardot, and we have also discussed about the working of Pardot, how it helps in lead generation and how it's helpful for your business to uplift your business. And we have also discussed about the basic terminologies that is needed to be understood before you're starting to work on Pardot, and how do we set up the Salesforce and Pardot connector, and how do we establish the connection and data sync between both the platforms and how it actually works. So we discussed about a lot of topics that one needs to understand before starting to work on Pardot. And now we have also discussed about various elements of Pardot. And in the previous session, if you have missed it by any chance, you can just visit the page, revisit the page, and you can get the links of the video. The sessions have been recorded. The session slides are also available, so you can just have a look at them. And if you have any doubt, any questions, you can come up in our next sessions, or you can just reach out to us directly. So now we'll be moving on to the significant features of Pardot that will help in generating the leads for your business, and also defines a set of prospect data that you can nurture, and you can just have their engagement program around those prospects, and to convert them into your valuable customers for your business. Okay, so we'll be discussing about the two ways in which lead generation helps. That's about the Pardot forms and Pardot form handlers. So these are, you might be thinking that these both are same. What's the difference? They both are forms, but they both are the forms, but they work differently. And just we'll have a look, and we'll discuss today in today's session how both are different and how it functions. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand the lead generation process. So whenever you want to collect the information about the people that are visiting to your website or your landing page, then you will see a form hosted there, right? So whenever you have visited any of the website, you might have seen a form hosted where where they are trying to capture some information from you, like your email ID or your phone number or any sort of information that can help them to connect with you about their business, or if they can help you get your queries solved, if you have any questions about anything, any of their services, solutions, or the any of the services that are available on their website, right? So this filling up of the form, this will help you to turn any of the anonymous visitor that are coming into your website to that helps in converting them into identified prospects, and this can act as an entry point for your business. They can be the entry point for your prospects for your into your business and into your Pardot database. So eventually, so once your visitors convert to prospects, you can continue to use these forms to learn more about them and their interests and their preferences, right? So here you can see in this description that an anonymous visitor can visit to your website by using any channel. They can just search for your website on Google directly, or via some posts or some social media links that you have provided anywhere on your social media page of of your business. Also, if you have their if they have your website link URL, so they can straight away jump into your website using that. And once they are on your website, with the help of the tracking code, the Pardots tracking code, we can just track all the activities that the visitors are doing on your website. It can be clicking of any URL, or they are viewing any of your content, navigating through your website, how much time they have spent on your website, and if there are any downloadable assets that are available on your website, how many of them have downloaded it, what all are the assets that they have downloaded. So all that kind of tracking we can do with the help of the tracking code that is placed at the back end of the website source code. So that's how we are tracking the visitor activities. Now we can track whatever they are navigating, whatever they are looking or searching for. But how do we convert them into a prospect? So if you are aware, if you have attended our first session, we discussed about the visitor and prospects, right? So visitors are some unidentified anonymous people who have visited to your website, and we can just track their activity, but we cannot sell to them, we cannot market to them. So for that we need prospects. So how do we get them converted to prospects? Once they have filled up any of the forms posted on any of the websites, so they have to, if they have provided their some of their details like email or their phone numbers, so with the help of that we can just connect with them, we can just market, we can just like if they have filled up for some query that they have about any of your solution or services, if they want to get in touch with you, so you can just reach out to them, you can just connect with them with the help of that email ID. So that's how the visitors are converted into the prospects. So this is the very basic and the very initial stage of lead generation. So what happens now when the lead records are generated in lead, or the prospect records that are generated in Pardot, then these are the actual leads that are interested, like they have shown some interest in some of your content. And now when they come into your Pardot database, we we have some criteria set, and based on that, if they are fulfilling those criteria, we just move them into the Salesforce, into the hands of salespeople to work on them and to turn them into their valuable customers. So only the quality leads that have qualified or fulfill some criteria, they can enter into the sales funnel and into the Salesforce, and this will help your sales team work better, and it will make your sales team more efficient. So that's how the marketing qualified leads are helping to the salespeople and into the Salesforce, to the salespeople, further into your turning them into your valuable customers. So we'll be discussing about the very first type, that's the Pardot forms. So these are basically the Pardot hosted forms that are designed and managed completely in Pardot. So they are managed by Pardot. So you cannot have a lot of flexibility in modifying or customizing them as per your requirement. You can just have you just have some of the changes or flexibilities into the options that are available, and that's very restricted. But it's very safe, it's very secure if you're using the Pardot forms on your website. You also have an additional an advantage of using the amazing feature of the progressive profiling. We'll be discussing about this in detail when we are working on the demo. Then you also have an option of bot protection to prevent the spammers from filling up the form on your website. You can also report on the form views and the form completions, the form submissions that have been done by your prospects. And you can also redirect them on the post the form submission onto some thank you page URL that you have mentioned, or you can just simply display some of the dynamic thank you messages that you have created to show to them once the prospects have filled the form. So if when do you use the Pardot form? So if you don't want to use the Pardot landing page to host your form, first of all, you can just host them on the landing page, right? But if you don't want to use any of the landing pages to host the form, you have an option to place this form on your website with the help of the iframe code that is available for this Pardot. So you can just simply copy the iframe code and paste on your website source code, and you're good to go. So we'll just see how this happens. We'll move to the demo now. All right. So you can see my dashboard, Pardot dashboard. So we'll move to the forms. It's taking time. Okay. So, okay, I have created one Pardot webinar form, for example, and I'll show you how we create, what are the options that are available for creating a form. So we start with naming the form. You can just name it accordingly. And the very important thing that needs to be taken care of is that if you want to manage your forms well, you need to have a very good naming convention for them. Just have a proper format set for naming, because even the smallest things happen for you to make your business or to make your process efficient, right? So it's, you can name it anyway, but if you are naming it with using a proper naming convention format, so it will help you a lot to manage your assets very well in Pardot. And also you can use the tags. You can just tag any of the content that's available in Pardot. Like you can tag the automation rules, you can tag the assets that are available, like the forms, the form handlers, the website, sorry, the landing pages, and all that stuff. You can just tag, and on the base, what helps tagging it helps in a way to filter out all your contents based on the particular tag value, right? Okay, so now you can just put it in any of the folder wherever it is required. You need to set the tracker domain. You can see I have a list of tracker domain available. So tracker domains are nothing but the variation of your website domain. So these are just similar to, let's say, have an alias for your website domain. And you can just think of it as something like white labeling the URL of your website. So you need to choose how it's going to work. So you will just select it from here, and for this you will have to do the setup from the domain management, and that you can, for this you can contact your IT team for configuring this process. So, and from here you can just select the campaign with which you want to associate this form to, and the campaign under which all the tracking will be done for this form, right? Okay, so the next option that we have available is the fields. What are all the fields that are going to be presented on your forms, right? So by default I have these 4 fields available. So, and then you know one thing, that the email field is used as the unique identifier in prospect. So this helps to like list the, or decide whether the prospects are already there in your Pardot database or not. If on the subsequent submissions by the prospects, if they are submitting your forms or they are submitting their details multiple times, so it's up to your settings and it's up to your requirement whether you want to update those prospect data or you want to create a new one. So you have the option available for both of these. So, but in general, we treat email field, email address of the prospect as an unique identifier. And I'll just show you some of the settings that are available for the fields. Okay, so you can just put the label for your field and you can select the prospect field from here. These are the available prospect fields with which you can map the field values and where you want to get the data stored. So, and you can also see some of the custom prospect fields that I have created. You will get all those options here. You will not get to map the field values with the account fields in Salesforce or with the opportunity fields in Salesforce, because they are not writable in Pardot. They are just read only, and you can just view them. You can have a report on them created, but you cannot use them or uh, update any value in Pardot or do any changes to its field values of accounts and opportunities. So all you can control from here is the prospect field values, and you can also have the custom field values available for the prospects. Then you have these type options available. You can choose any of them accordingly, according to your field. And then you have the data format. So data format can be text, number, or you can see this option of email with valid mail server, an email not from ISPs and free email providers. It's visible. So this is something that is handled and managed by Pardot itself. So this is an advantage that you can have a valid email. So if it's not there, if the email that the prospect is filling in is not appropriate, it will just not take the form as successful submission, right? So you can just select the required option if it's required, if the field is required to be filled. You can put the error message for the field if any wrong value is being filled in by the prospect, or you can have some CSS classes implemented for those fields as well. You can give the description, and you have the option that always display even if previously completed. This option is there. There may be some fields in which, like, you may want to make sure that the data populated on the field is up to date. For example, let's say that there is a phone number field available on your form. So you want that whenever the prospect is filling up the form, they are filling in the appropriate phone number. So maybe the first time that they visited your website, they just randomly filled any number on the phone number field. But next time when they are visiting your website, they are more interested to have a proper connection with your business or connect with you in a more appropriate way. So they will be providing some other relevant option or some other contact number or any specific field. So accordingly, you can just, if you want, you can just enable this option. Do not pre-fill is this is an option when let's say that a prospect may want to submit a value in the form, but more than once. So the older value should not be shown, right? Because if they want to fill up the form fields with some new value, they should have the flexibility to do that. Then, because everything in Pardot works on the cookies, right? So whenever an identified cookies lands into your website, the information will be displayed. So you have to control that from the view options of this form, the options that are available here. Now there is another option of maintaining the initial value upon subsequent form submissions, and these are something that retains the initial field value whenever the prospect has submitted the additional forms with some other values. Like you can have a lot of other forms available on your website pages, but whenever the form is being submitted, you want to maintain that initial value that the prospect has filled in very first time. So you can just have this option enabled. For the values, you can see the tab is disabled because from here you need to have some of the data type should be checkbox or radio. And see, if I select the checkbox type, I'll get to add the value, right? So for adding any of the values, you can just select any of those other data types. Talking about the progressive field, the option of progressive field is that, now this is some very like I can say that it's a very important function of Pardot forms that helps in collecting more data over subsequent form submissions. So once you have filled, once filled the form, when visitor comes back to your website, the cookies, as I said, are identified. If the cookies of the prospect is already identified, then you will display a new set of fields on the form in addition to the info that you have already requested with the prospect. So if, let's say, I have the fields available here, these are the fields that are available on my form, right? So the very first time the prospect came on my website and they filled up all these details. Now, when they next time, if you have the progressive profiling enabled, so what happens is that the rest of the fields will not be visible, only the email field will be visible, and the rest of the fields will be disappeared, because already you already have collected the value about the information from those fields about this prospect into your Pardot. So you need not to show them again and again. Instead, you can have some additional fields added on the form that will help you gather some more information about your prospect. So this is how it helps you to gradually know about your prospect, and in a way it drives higher conversion rate for your prospect. So the more you know your prospect, the better you deal with them. So this was about this option. Now, if I move to the dependent option, so this is something that we know in like, and if you have to control the fields that are being displayed on the form based on some value. So once you select this, you can have that if this field, if the field that we are editing on, if this field equals to some particular value, then you can show another field and you can collect some other information based on this field value. So let's say that you have a country field, and if suppose this is a country field that we're editing and the country field value equals to US, so you can, from here you can just select the state you want to know about, which state of US which the prospect is filling in the form. So similarly you can just whatever, you can just have a controlling field enabled from here. So these are about the fields, how we create them in Pardot on the Pardot forms. About the look and feel, if we talk about, it's loading slowly. It's taking so much time. Okay. So from here, you can select the layout template for the form, whatever you have. If you have anything available, I don't have anything because this is a training environment. So I just have the standard format that's available. So I'll just select this, and whatever text you want to give to the submit button, it can be submit, it can be save, it can be anything else you want to name it accordingly, is for your choice. Then the above form option is available to, if you want to give some special instructions to the prospect before they're filling up the form, you can have it placed over here, the text, or you can just, if you have any link to be provided, you can just provide the link from here. If there's any set of code any script that you're running, so you can just go to the source and you can just place the code over there. Similarly, the below form option is available to show any kind of instruction or any set of data, anything, any message you want to show. So you can just show that below the form. And I'll just run and I'll show how this shows up on the form. Now for the styles, as I said, it's available, very few options available, like you can just control the font size, you can just select the font family, color, alignment, and the required field character. Now, another things that comes up is about the cookie of the browser, right? So the kiosk mode is available so that the browser does not cookie the submitted prospect. So that let's say that, let's take an example that you went to an event and you are organizing an event, and in the event you're using a Pardot form to get the attendees data into your Pardot database, right? So a single system is being used by multiple attendees to fill up a form. So you can just select the kiosk or data entry mode, and if you have enabled this option, then every time a prospect comes up post the form submission, a new form appears, the form gets reset and the new form appears, and whatever information is being filled on the form, it's taken as a new prospect in the Pardot. Similarly, you can include the not you field if you want to reset the form, and you can also have the bot protection enabled by using the reCAPTCHA. This is something again that's managed by Pardot itself. Moving on to the completion actions that we had discussed in our previous session. So I hope you're aware and you remember. If you have any doubt on this, if you are not aware of the completion actions, you can just go and have a look at the video or the session slides that we have available. You can place a thank you content message here, post the form submission, or you can post the thank you code in the form of JavaScript that's being used on the website. And you can select if you want that post the form submission, the prospect is landing to some other URL. So you can simply select this option and you can give the URL over here. Then you can give the completion actions options from here, whatever actions you want to take on the prospect post they have submitted the form. So I have few of them listed here. So accordingly, whatever you want to add, you can just add more and you can save the form. So once you click confirm and save, you can just review the change, all the set changes that you have done, the form fields that you have set, and all that stuff you can see, and you can save this form. Now, when I save this form, I get to view it online because it's hosted on Pardot. So this is a link that I had used, so it's just coming here. As you can see, this is a very basic form that I have designed. I have done no editing, no CSS added to it, so it's a very basic one. The above text, the above form text that you can see, the fields that I have available, and the below form text that you can see. So now if I enter some value here, and I submit, I'll get this thank you message. Other than this, you can also redirect to some particular URL if you want to place a redirect to the another website or another URL post the form completion. Now, when I go back, I will see a prospect created on my form. If you have any questions, you can just note it down and we can take up by the end of the session. So you can see the prospect is created. Now when I open this prospect, the record, I can see this form has been submitted, the score has been set. You can see whether the form is being viewed or it is being successfully submitted, and all the data of the prospect that you can see. So, and below that, you can also see on which or all landing pages this form is hosted. So from there, you can have a tracking enabled for the landing pages, and you can see all the other usages that you have. So this is about the Pardot form. You can also see the report, the unique submissions or the total clicks, views, everything. So, and if you want, if this is about, if you want to place it on any of the landing page, you can just click, select this form while creating a landing page. And if you want to place this code on any other website, then you can view the HTML code, and this is the iframe code that is available. You can just place it on the source code of the website, and it works. The Pardot form will pull the data, prospect data from there into the Pardot database. So this was about the Pardot forms. Moving on, we'll discuss about the Pardot form handlers. So these are the options. These are the forms that you can create by integrating it with some other forms that are available on the website. So basically, it helps to connect the Pardot with external forms that are hosted on any of the web page, so that the prospect information is routed well into the Pardot database. What you can do is any of the form that is being designed by any of the developer or on any of the website, and it's an HTML form, and that's according to the requirement, that's fulfilling the designing requirements of the web page. And simply you can just, with the help of the post action on the web page, you can just have the post action, and with the help of that you can get all the responses from that form directly into your Pardot. So, and you can also completely control the look and feel of your forms by using the CSS, and you have a full flexibility to make any changes to your forms, because it has no restrictions. All is it does is that it pulls up the data from that form and brings to the Pardot database. Also, what you can do with the Pardot form handlers, because it's getting used in multiple ways, so that forms data can be pulled into Pardot as well. And other than this, you can also pull that data into some other database. If let's say you're using multiple databases to store the prospect data, so other than the Pardot database, you can move it to some other database as well. So this is the advantage of using the Pardot form handlers. You have a little bit of more flexibility with the look and feel, and with the data being pulled to various databases. Now we'll see how it works in Pardot. We'll move to the Pardot form handlers. So I have a form handler created. I'll show how it works. So similar to the Pardot forms, you can just name it. You can add it to a folder. You can add a tag to it. You can associate with it with the required campaign. The kiosk mode option is available. You can also, as I said, you can move it to some other database. So you can enable the data forwarding to the success location. So you can have the prospect data forwarded to another database as well. And disabling visitor throttling, this is an additional advantage of using the form handlers, and this is not available on the Pardot forms. So though the Pardot is capturing all the form submission data, every time a form is submitted, the data is captured by Pardot. But it can be a good practice if you restrict the duplicate activities, like sending of an autoresponder email and again, just like the user comes in again to your website, and they want to make some changes to the name that they have provided, or any of the other information that they have provided. So on that, based on that small change, if the form is being filled up, then again they are going to receive the repetitive emails in their inbox. So if to avoid that, we can just disable the visitor activity throttling. So it will treat only the unique submissions, and the completion actions will run only after the unique submissions, and not if the prospect is filling the same form again and again. From here, you can just select the success URL where you want to take it to. You can just add a referring URL, or you can specify the URL here. Similarly, for the error location where you want to land post the form submission, and you can add the completion actions similar to the form handlers, whatever actions you want to take post the form submission, and you can add the form fields from here. So this is a very quickly created form handlers, because you have to map an already existing form on some external source to a form in Pardot and pull that data. So you cannot have those Pardot hosted functionalities on the form handlers, but obviously you can just manage it on the source part of the like on the source code of the web page. Now, if I save this form handler, I can see the form handler code. This can be used in the source code of the website, and to get the tracking done for this particular form on the web page. If you want to clone any of the form handlers, you can simply just copy the form handler. Let's say that you want that all these completion actions should be same, and you want to copy and clone this form handler. So from here, you can just select the copy field, and you can give the new name, the new campaign name, if you want to associate with another campaign name, and you can just select all this stuff, and you can just clone the form. This is applicable for both the form handlers and for the forms, Pardot forms. So this is how we create both the Salesforce the Pardot forms and the Pardot form handlers. So one thing that you need to keep in mind about the form handlers is that if you delete a form handler in Pardot, And then you need to be very careful about deleting or updating the associated form on your website, because you are connecting a form on the website to the form handler. So when you're deleting the form handler from Pardot, you need to take care of which other form handler is the data being pulled to from the form that is hosted externally on the web page. And if you leave the form with deleted form handler, then the prospect submit whenever the prospect submits the form, they are going to receive an error message. So because the data is not getting pulled into Pardot, so there's no use of you won't get it. The data will be missed on that part. So now you can see about the comparison between the Pardot form and form handlers. So there can be a lot of circumstances where you would like to use the Pardot forms, and other than that, if you want to use the form handlers, there's going to be something different circumstances. You have to just choose based on your requirements. So you need to decide how you want to integrate your forms with your existing website. So the choice of form definitely varies from in different circumstances. So to understand or figure out the purpose of creating forms before you implement them, you will need to choose them very wisely. Also, if you can see the Pardot forms, the advantages that you have, it provides progressive profiling, as we discussed about the give protection against bots, the spammers that are going to fill up the form. You can integrate with the Pardot landing pages. You can display the thank you content. Talking about the Pardot form handlers, you can integrate with any external form placed on the web page. You can integrate with the Salesforce web to lead forms as well, because web to lead forms are not trackable. So you just get the data and you work on that. So for tracking the leads activity or the prospects activity, you can just integrate the Salesforce web to lead forms with the Pardot form handlers, and it's work, and it helps to track the prospect activity. Besides that, you can also support the it also supports the, like I said, the look and feel and the CSS that you can implement on the forms, and it helps to maintain the lead flow into your database. So if you need a form that asks a user to upload a file, let's say that there's a form where you want to upload a file or create new password or any kind of sensitive information that you want to collect from the user, you cannot use Pardot form because you don't have an option to add it there. So for that, you will use the form handlers. And let's say that in another scenario, if you can talk about capturing the UTM parameters, so in a Pardot form. So for that, you can use the Pardot forms, because you can create the hidden fields, and you can implement some JavaScript on the web page where the form is hosted to pass the parameters from the URL to the form. So if there is a case for capturing the UTM parameter values to your Pardot database, you can use the Pardot forms. If you want to collect any kind of sensitive information from the user, you can use the Pardot form handler. So other than that, you can just check for, there's a huge list of comparison for the Pardot forms and form handlers. So accordingly, I'll say that whatever is your requirement, you need to choose based on that. So that's all about the Pardot form and form handlers that we are discussing in the session. So yeah, any questions?
Yes, Soumya, we have a couple of questions in the chat window.
Soma, can you see the chat window and read out the questions?
Sorry, can you hear me now? I think I just muted myself.
No worries, Soma. Soma, can you see the chat window and all the
Yeah.
questions in it, or should we
Yeah,
read
I
out to
can
you?
see. Yeah,
You can.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, so the question is that the prospect records are saved in lead object, or we have different object in Salesforce to store the values we get from the form. Okay, so we have discussed this in our first session in itself, if you have missed it by chance, that the prospect records are saved in either lead object or the contact object. If the prospect record is while syncing from Pardot to Salesforce, it checks for that email address field on email address value in the Salesforce. So if there is already a contact record with the same email address present in Salesforce, it will map this prospect with that contact record. If the contact record is not available with that email address value, then it will check for the lead record. If there's any lead record in Salesforce that has the email address of similar to the prospect email address, so it will map with the lead record. And if none of these are found, then it will create a new lead record in Salesforce. If there's no record in Salesforce that exists with this prospect email address value, then a new lead record will be created. Otherwise, it will map with either the contact record or with the lead record. So that's how the prospect is synced to Salesforce. So these are the two objects with which the prospect record gets synced to in Salesforce. Pardot forms are used for capturing only prospects or any other use. So yes, it's only that's actually used for the lead generation, because you are capturing the prospects data and into your in your Pardot. So once you have them as prospects in your Pardot database, you can you can just send them list emails for your marketing, or you can include them in any of the engagement program. You can nurture these prospects with the help of time to time. You have scheduled a list of emails for marketing about your business, right? So you have a lot basically for email marketing. You need to have some prospect data on which you can do the marketing, right? So this helps in lead generation. Once you have these created in Pardot, you can just nurture them according to your business requirements. From where we can put CSS for more styling in the form, as I had shown you in the, if you're talking about the forms, then you can just add, you don't have much option available for adding the CSS to the look and feel of the form. But if you talk about the form handlers, you can just do any sort of editing on the website's source code. Why we use form handler with Salesforce web to lead form? Because the form handler has this functionality and this flexibility of integrating with a third-party form, and Salesforce web to lead form is a third-party form or an external form because it's hosted on a particular website. So from there you're generating the leads from that web page. So it's not hosted on Pardot. So you can just map the Pardot form handler fields with that web to lead forms, and you can just pull all the data posts on the form submission to the Pardot. So if you got any lead from web to lead in Salesforce, okay, and we already sync lead object with Pardot, so we can automatically get that data in Pardot. That you need to enable the setting for that. Because either the data sync can be in a way that you have restricted that the leads or the any of the leads data is not getting synced to Pardot, because you need to avoid, because in your Salesforce, the data can be some junk data as well, some mass imports that you have done with the help of the while importing the list of leads data into your Salesforce. You can have some unnecessary leads in your Salesforce as well. So they may be or they might not be the filtered data or the appropriate data that the salespeople need to work on. The advantage of using a marketing automation tool for Salesforce, for Sales Cloud, is that you are getting the marketing qualified data, because these are exactly the data of prospects who are interested, who have shown some interest, who have provided the information to you to know more about your business, or to get to know more about your services or solutions that you have provided, right? So in that way, it helps to like get a very good quality of leads into Salesforce, so that your salespeople for salespeople time and efforts are really valuable, right? So to avoid any kind of inefficiency on the data, we just use the Pardot leads, Pardot prospects into Salesforce. That's all the questions we have. Anyone else has any question?
I think we are good with the questions, Soumya. And does anyone have any questions? They can put in the chat. We will wait for 1 minute more, and then we will wrap up. Okay, I think we are good with that. Thank you so much, Soumya, again for. Okay, so I think we have one question.
Okay, but if we want to get the record stored in any other custom object and then apply our custom comparison as per the business requirement, can we do that? I did not get your question exactly. If you want to create a custom object in Pardot and you want to get the data synced with another custom object in Salesforce, is that your question? Um, if that's your question, yes, we can do that, because you have that option of creating the custom objects in Pardot in the Lightning app. It's not available in the Salesforce in the Pardot Classic app, but it's available in the Lightning app. You can create a custom object and you can map the data into your Salesforce custom object accordingly. But you cannot do that for the contact for the accounts or the opportunity records. Any prerequisites to connect to third-party tools using form handlers? Not very sure about what this question says, but if you're asking about the third-party platform on which the Power Form is hosted and you want to connect the form handler with that, so not any prerequisite, just you can place the code of the HTML code that we have generated, because that's something that helps in tracking the form submissions. So if the prospect is viewing the form, submitting the form, clicking anything, so in that way, just for the tracking purpose, we are using that. Anything else, guys?
All right. Thank you so much, Soumya, for again for sharing this awesome informative session with all of us. And we have two more sessions to go, and we are hoping the same with that.
Sure. And if anybody has any other question you want to ask, you can ask to me after the session as well on any of the social media, or you can just post it on the website that we have. You can just send an email, or we can just take it up in any of the further sessions, or we'll discuss later.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining. Stay safe. Enjoy your time with your family, and we will meet again next Saturday with our next session on Pardot. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining today's session.
Stay
See you.
safe at home, everyone. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.